There's a light in the sky, rising in the air. There's a feeling so strong. It's time to light the fire, like a bright shining light. Learn, getting more out of life. Learn, sharing time with friends, feeling so strong.
Hello, welcome to a very special House of Wellness. My name is Luke Darcy, and joining me here today are the usual suspects, the normal team, but their mums as well. Yay. So let's start at the end. Welcome to Luke Hines and his beautiful mum, Anne.
Thank you so much.
Rachael Finch and her beautiful mum, Colleen.
Yay.
Jo Stanley and her beautiful daughter, Willow, with us. Good to see you, Willow, again.
Yes.
And last but not least is my beautiful mum, Janet, sitting alongside me. Happy Mother's Day. Now, Jo, your mum's overseas travelling, so she couldn't be with us.
It's not the greatest of timing for us in that my mum's having a beautiful holiday in France. Love you, mum. So instead, I've brought my beautiful daughter Willow in to have some fun with us. And what a joy to have you here, baby.
Can we just say Happy Mother's Day to all the mums with us today? And let's face it, if the mums, which I'm sure are anything like my mum, ran the whole family, I'm one of 4 kids, and it was all about mum, let's be perfectly honest with you. The house ran like clockwork, but I was your favourite one.
Absolutely. The favourite third child you were.
Yeah. not quite what I was after. What about you, Hines? Was Anne the one who ran the family?
Mate, it's funny we talk about our parents being the boss, but I was the 4th of 4 boys that my mum had. I'm sorry. You didn't get a girl, but I reckon I give you a bit of performance anyway, so it's lots of fun. I even did ballet for you. So what I would say, though, is that you weren't the boss, and I wanted to take this moment to thank you, because apart from being a boss, you actually guided me and let me be me. And I think that's so beautiful. And I love you very much for it.
Beautiful.
So
I love you
thank
too,
you.
John.
Today's possible because of you.
He's showing us all up already. That wasn't on the script, mate. She's making us look bad off the top. Rach, tell us a bit about growing up with your mum.
I was the youngest of 3 kids and I was the only girl. So, sorry, I think I was the favourite child, genuinely. I think so. I just feel, for me, in my childhood, yes, mum was definitely the boss, but I just remember having loads of fun. Like, mum was this crazy one at the end of every athletics track, finish line, waving, going, go, go! Yes. I remember blasting repeats of Celine Dion and Barbra Streisand and all these. Do you remember that, mum?
And Spice Girls.
And Spice Girls, yeah, it was loads of fun, Darcy.
Now, as we said, Jo, your mum's away jet setting over, so Willow is with us today, and we've had Willow on the show already. It's been great to have you. Now, Willow, tell us, we were talking about you and your favourite playgrounds last time we saw you in the House of Wellness, and you were rating your favourite playgrounds out of 10. What would you give mum out of 10?
I guess Ken.
Yes! That's a very good answer.
Let me say that my mum was a single mum, raised 3 daughters on her own and taught us to be incredibly strong women, and it was such a joy to me to give birth to a daughter and to be able to pass on the same strength and resilience and joy that my mum taught us. And so I'm very pleased that you give me a 10, babe, because I do my best.
Yeah.
You know, I fall over every now and then. Yeah. I mean, literally fall over every now and then. But we get there, don't we, Bob? Yeah.
I heard your mum bribe you before the start of the show. So we'll discuss that. You'll be sticking around until the end of the show with all our mums. It's jam-packed. It'll be fantastic. We'll look at the miracle of multiple births as well. And speaking of that, did you wish there was maybe more of me, Mum? Or?
I had the opportunity a friend had triplets, to see how difficult that was. So I was happy to go one at a time.
Yeah, and food was incredibly important in our household. Mum, you fed me very well every single night. So I've harnessed all of that incredible info, and we'll be looking at some healthy alternatives for kids' lunch boxes. And I always loved yours, didn't I?
You did. The tuck shop day was very good.
Tuck shop day. You'll hear about that very soon.
Yes, and my mum and I, Anne and I, are going to share the story of an international model who's breaking down barriers. And while she is a total inspiration, the woman behind her, her mum, typifies that you can do anything if you put your mind to it. And that attitude that mums just seem to have so naturally. It's amazing.
Now, we all know exactly how much you mean to us, but Mum, what does Mother's Day mean for you? Do I need to lift my game a little bit or not?
I think from the sound of things, yes. I think the boys always left it to the girls, but I think mums do treasure Mother's Day and any card or opportunity to get together, but I love it.
What does Mother's Day mean to you, Mum?
Well, I do love it now, but when you were all young, I actually banned it.
Oh, why is that?
Because it was too much pressure on 4 boys at the end of the day to think, oh gosh, we haven't really done a lot. We might run up to the florist or something.
Very selfless.
But now that you're older, you're just divine.
And Mumsy, what about you?
I think Mother's Day is a beautiful day of celebration for all mums. And especially...
It's an emotional
It was going to happen. It was going to happen.
Especially when we see our children
Yeah, of course.
grown up.
Because we don't get to spend, as
We're
much.
so proud
as
of
much-
them, and their achievements and where they've come. And yeah, I think it's just a beautiful celebration.
Yeah.
of being a
Beautiful
mum.
to have all the mums with us today. How about you, Joe? What does it mean to you as a mum?
Well, I suppose I really enjoy thanking my own mother, who's become an incredible grandmother for Willow and all of her cousins. So for me, it's about being grateful to my mum and really celebrating her. As far as for Willow and me, she's the greatest gift I could ever receive. So I never feel like I need presents or cards or, whatever you might give me. What does Mother's Day mean to you, babe? Cuddles. Lots of cuddles. That's all I ever want from this one here. Although she does spoil me with lots of cards and things.
Yeah.
I feel it's going to be an emotional day on the House of Wellness today. I think last time I cried was when you sent me to boarding school, Mum. But we'll talk about that after the break. Look at the joy of doubling or even tripling up, the magic of multiple births. That's all coming up with our mums on Mother's Day here on House of Wellness. Yes, welcome back to the House of Wellness. Today we are celebrating for all mothers, especially our own here on the show. And I'm here with my beautiful mum, Janet. Now, can I ask, going all the way back, how did you react when you found out you were pregnant with me? It's all about me.
Tell us something we don't know.
Always very exciting. I love the whole process, and then you had no scans, or it was just always a big surprise, and it was a really amazing experience, and I reacted very well to finding out you're on the way.
Yeah, how lucky you were at the end.
I was.
It's got to be a joyous moment as a parent myself now. However, finding out you have more than one can come as a bit of a shock.
We went to the 12-week ultrasound, and he was just going to look for one baby and found 3.
With no history of multiple births on either side of the family, Renee and her husband Sean were completely stunned to hear that their family of 3 would soon become 6.
And it was just shock. Like, at first he was all like, you're having twins, and Renee was actually like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
And then, about 5 minutes later, he found a 3rd one. So, it was a big shock, and we're also pretty scared because at the same time we didn't really know. There's obviously a higher risk with triplets.
Any multiple birth has its risks, but Renee's babies also shared one placenta, which can create added complications.
So we went into each ultrasound just nervous, stressed, filled with anxiety of whether we were going to find 3 heartbeats, find, any heartbeats. And it was definitely it was harder emotionally than it was physically.
Now holding 3 healthy baby girls, the fear of what could go wrong is long forgotten.
There are times when all 3 of them are crying, and I'll just sit there and smile because they're all here, they're all healthy.
Maybe not smile.
No, I literally sit there and smile.
The girls were delivered at 32 weeks by caesarean section. They weighed in at just over 1.5 kilos each, healthy and home within weeks, which meant a whirlwind shopping spree.
Bassinets. So we had to get 3 bassinets, car seats. We have 3 cots set up for when they're too big for their bassinets.
In one day, we went out, bought things that we needed, and that was that, yeah. The car, we needed a new car. That was the one thing that did take longer than a day to get.
Yes.
We're doing one at a time.
The odds of having identical triplets is 1 in 60,000 to 1 in 200 million. So Sophia, who was delivered first, followed by Alexia and then Aurora, are very special indeed.
We have so many photos of them. I have thousands of photos of them, and I have no idea who is who in each photo.
Bringing one baby home is hard enough, but managing 3?
I only ever wanted 2, but as soon as I found out, you know, you just love them all. You know, there's nothing. I would never change it. I would never ask for it again, but I would also never change it. It's just our life now.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good life.
With the netball team growing, the question is there any chance of an ally on the boys' team?
We're done. We're done.
Oh, okay. I was going to say there are just so many beautiful babies to love. I could have more.
What a great story. Renee deserves triple the chocolates, triple the flour, everything you can. But I get the feeling Sean's not that keen to go back again, Joe.
No, I mean, it's great to have your family in one instant fulfilled like that. And what a blessing. All babies are a blessing, but wowee. She is a superhero, Renee. Absolute superhero.
Look, there's some interesting stats actually around multiple births. Almost 5,000 sets of twins are born in Australia each year, but according to the most recent figures from the Bureau of Statistics, only 84 sets of triplets and higher other multiples have been born here in Oz.
Well, let's test it with our group. Does any of us here have any siblings? I know Mum and I don't have any in the family that are twins or multiple births.
No, not us.
No.
We're all very boring, aren't we?
That was a letdown.
One of a kind. That's what we are.
Exactly.
We grew up with triplets, our close friends, Mum, so we were friends from as young we can remember. But that was interesting watching that close hand, wasn't it? Watching good friends of ours have triplets. They
It was amazing. And now I realise it, like 1 in 84, that's them. And one of the mums is an identical twin.
Wow.
That's Luke's godmother.
Okay.
And
There you go.
Yeah.
they're
It's the gene.
fantastic.
We have very dear friends of Willow's at school, 2 of your best friends who are twins, and watching our dear friend Sheridan parent those girls is extraordinary. The organisation of but you know, they're best friends to each other, aren't they? Yeah, it's nice to see.
Now, Mum, given you here, we might as well put you to work. Do you want to throw to the break?
Yes, up next on the House of Wellness, Rachel and her mum Colleen are going to talk about easy lunchbox options.
Amazing!
Yay!
Welcome back to the House of Wellness. Now, Mum, you ran a pretty military-like operation in our house from what I remember. I don't remember getting a lot of lunch orders from the tuck shop. It was always sort of handmade from you.
That's true. You're very disappointed with some of your healthy lunches.
But he turned into a great athlete, so it paid off.
It all paid off.
Food was so important, but I did used to bring home loads from the Adelaide Central Market, and I figured if they ate all that, something must be going right. But Luke did leave his lunch on the school bus once, and he still remembers what it was. It was that much of a drama missing out on lunch. So
I remember exactly what it was. It was an apple pie, chicken sandwich, chicken schnitzel. So it was my favourite ever lunch, John. I left it on the school bus. How sad do you reckon that
Someone
was?
else might have enjoyed that,
Exactly. Now, some schools don't even have tuck shops anymore. They put the orders online. Colleen, I asked you about Rach. Was she a good eater at school?
Rach has always been an excellent eater, a very big eater. In fact, sometimes she would eat more than her 2 brothers.
Really? You wouldn't know it.
No.
Grew up. I grew tall.
I ate heaps. I had a pretty balanced lunchbox.
She had a very big appetite.
We had we'd either have leftovers or Mum would make a big chopped salad. But I definitely remember the classics like the wagon wheels, the space food sticks. They were so good though. Like you have to have a mix of everything. But these days there are so many different types of food. Kids have different dietary requirements, so we have to be a lot more creative with a fantastic range of options that will not only keep the kids energised and satisfied, but they'll actually love to eat.
One of the most common questions that I get asked is, what are some great healthy alternatives for kids' school lunch boxes?
The everyday lunch of a Vegemite sandwich, chips, cookies and apples are getting old. Kids are wanting something more. So here are a few of my favourite school lunchbox ideas. First lunchbox, carrot sticks, cherry tomatoes, hummus to dip the carrot sticks into, as well as being a source of protein. If you have a tub in the fridge, that'll last all week. Strawberries, grapes, and finally some pasta. This one is made from chickpeas, so it's an extra boost of protein for sustained energy. Lunchbox idea 1, done. Lunchbox 2, skewers of cherry tomatoes, cucumber and olives. These can be pre-prepared if needed. Boiled egg, brown rice left over from dinner the night before. Add some light soy sauce, in it goes. Some diced carrot, and finally for a sweet treat, some dark chocolate, as well as the spoon for the rice. Lunchbox idea 2, done. Final lunchbox idea. Starting off with leftover chicken from last night's dinner, but it could be any source of protein like rissoles or meatballs. Slice some fresh cucumber and add it to the mix. Then a container of yogurt with berries that could be pre-made and frozen the night before. Homemade popcorn using coconut oil, dates, and finally half a banana, cutting a slit in it for easy opening. Final lunchbox, done. 3 different options to get kids eating their lunches again.
What do you think, guys?
Yeah.
They are
Excellent.
delicious. What I love most about them is that they're very quick to prepare, and you can do that the night before if you are organised enough, which is fantastic. You know, because the preschool routine is pretty hectic, so sometimes you need to prepare the night before. Now, Willow, you are, I think, the best taste tester here on this couch as far as school lunches is concerned. Which of those did you like the most?
I liked the yogurt and berry one.
Oh, good choice.
Oh, the third one?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so far from what I normally get.
Now we know.
I must tell you
I don't know what you do with the other half of banana as well.
Yeah.
It's a bit mean, just half a banana.
Freeze it for smoothies for later.
But also, I want to tell you that if I sent her to school with those skewers, I would get a letter home saying, please don't send weapons to this school.
Yeah,
Like,
they are a
that's
bit strict. Yeah.
Maybe
I think the other thing is we have to be really creative because a lot of schools don't have nuts, of course, and a lot of
No.
schools don't have, most of them don't have eggs. So we've got to think outside to create these ideas.
Yeah,
so.
but I give you those carrot sticks and the hummus.
Yeah.
And you eat them.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Now, I'm interested, Rach, to see what you'll be putting in the kids' lunch boxes when they turn 15. Yours are 5 and 2 at this age, aren't they? So
That's correct.
that'll be interesting, and how much food is right for mum at that particular stage.
Oh, yeah, I think I'll have to triple, quadruple that. So we'll see how we go. Not sure.
I love it. Well, you've dobbed yourself in for catering for the show anyway with all that delicious food, so bring it on. I look forward to it.
Hey, Hines, you're our food expert in lots of ways. You're a cookbook author of number 10. So what's a typical lunch at school? What did it look like for you when you
What
were
I
growing up?
loved about what Mum did for me is that because I was the youngest of 4 boys and we're all at school at the same time at one point in varying grades, Mum would make these massive spag bowls or lasagnas or your famous apricot cake.
Which
and
was
it was perfect.
very healthy.
Economic, bulk cooking, but really good for you and nourishing food. And for a busy mum and on a budget, I was really impressed with what you put together.
Thank you, Luke.
Yeah, he's on fire, Luke, isn't he? He's
Something's
making
coming.
you look bad again, Luke. It's not good. We'll find out more about your school days a bit later, Hines. I'm looking forward to that. But next, if your mindset is preventing you from reaching your goals, and stick around to meet a young lady who will convince you that anything is possible. Welcome back. We are celebrating on the House of Wellness with our mums here today, especially our own. And Anne Hines, I want to start with you. Tell us a little bit about Luke as a young boy.
Oh, I didn't know this was coming. I have to say, it was just so exciting when Luke was born. It was so wonderful. But he was always a very beautiful child. He has a great affinity with animals, and he was always really lovely. And as he grew up, just got better. And as an adult, I'm extremely proud of you, Luke.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Beautifully said.
Yeah.
Now, Colleen, tell us a bit about Rach as a young girl.
Rach. You always knew Rach was present. The house was always filled with love, laughter, fun. Rach was a very positive and She was a go-getter, and she was always very much a perfectionist as well. Everything had to be perfect, put in its place. It had to be lined up.
Husband kills me for that.
Still to this day. A very beautiful, loving, caring soul.
Oh, thanks, Mum.
Amazing mum. Just watching. Yeah, so she's never changed, and she's just thought about everyone before herself, and she's just a beautiful soul, and I'm just so proud, honestly, to have Rachel and the boys as well. So, yeah, it's an amazing gift.
Oh, beautifully said. Now, Jo, given your mum's away overseas at the moment, you can maybe speak on your own behalf. You're a model child, I believe.
A model child. Well, I don't think my mother would say that if she was here. I was very, very well behaved and extremely quiet and bookish until I hit my teenage years, and then I was not. I really pushed the envelope as far as testing boundaries was concerned as a teen, and I kind of hope that my daughter has the same kind of, rebellious streak a little bit, because I think that's how you learn to really identify with who you are as a person. Definitely. I don't know if it was my mum's favourite thing, that's what I was doing. But, Willow, I encourage you to go out and explore who you are, okay? Yes, until I tell you to go to, it's bath time. Oh, babe. So, although nowhere near as model as Madeline Stewart, myself, she's graced every catwalk, magazine cover and fashion show imaginable. And best of all, Madeline's smashing barriers all over the world, and all with the help of a very supportive mum. Take a look.
Madeline Stewart was only a few minutes old when her 25-year-old mum, Roseanne, was told the news that would change her life.
The doctors came to me and they said that we believe your daughter has Down syndrome. And I said to the doctor, well, what is Down syndrome? And his reaction was that my daughter would only ever mature mentally to about a 7-year-old. If I had more children, that she would be detrimental to those children and she would probably never achieve anything, and then I had options.
The option that Roseanne chose to take was to embrace this new life of hers and Maddie's, although she knew it wasn't going to be easy.
Most people with Down syndrome have a lot of obstacles. Madeline's the same. She had open heart surgery. She has limited speech. She understands everything, but she has trouble because of her muscle tone to get the words out. But the biggest obstacle is acceptance, inclusion, and that's always been the fight for every person who has a child with a disability, is inclusion.
It was Maddie's determination and Roseanne's support that was about to change both their lives forever.
Madeline in 2014 was quite overweight. She came to me one afternoon in dance and she was crying. It was hot and she was uncomfortable. And I said, darling, can't you keep up? And she said, no. And I said, well, you're going to have to get fit. And I suppose that stubbornness and that strong will helped her because she decided that was her goal, and she lost 20 kilos. And just after she lost that 20 kilos, I took her to a fashion show. And when we were in the fashion show, she looked at the models on the catwalk and she turned to me and she said, Mum, me model. And straight away I just thought, well, okay, if that's what you want to do, let's do it. Madeline wasn't the sort of person that wanted to get her hair done or wanted to wear makeup. So I thought, oh, I'll take her to a photo shoot, she'll hate it and it'll finish there. But I took her to the photo shoot, and when I saw these glamorous photos, I went, wow, she really could be a model. And we posted them online and they went viral. Within 3 days, it was seen by 7.2 million people on the internet. It was published in 150 countries around the world. And then the phone just started ringing. The TV stations, the people wanting her to model their clothes, the people wanting her to go to New York Fashion Week. And since then, Madeline has been to Lebanon, the Ukraine, South Africa, Uganda, Mauritius. She's modelled in London, Paris, Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week, China, Runway Dubai, all through America.
Maddie, do you love modelling?
Yeah.
What is your favourite place in the world to model?
New York.
New York?
Yeah.
At the end of the year, she's modelling, already booked for London, New York and Paris, so it just continues.
7, 6,
5.
When Madeline isn't travelling around the world to model, she spends 8 hours a week in the gym with her personal trainer.
Good stuff.
She's probably one of my hardest working people I train. You know, she's here 5-6 times a week with me. She never complains. She's just in here. She puts in the work, and every time she's here, she's got the biggest smile on her face. That does give me motivation to to help her and on her quest to become fitter and stronger, and help her modelling career as well, which is really getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Madeline hasn't just broken through the glass ceiling when it comes to modelling. She also has created her own fashion label called 21 Reasons Why, as well as her own dance school.
The school was essentially created for people with disabilities to come and have a place to dance. So without the school and without others like it, there's really nowhere that's really open for people with disabilities. So I think it's really important for schools like this to happen.
Tell me, what is your favourite style of dance?
Baba.
Hip-hop?
Yeah.
Pretty much everything that Maddie is achieving is because of her can-do attitude. I mean, she doesn't take no for an answer. She doesn't believe that she can't do anything. She just does and achieves.
She really is a force to be reckoned with. She really has changed my world. She's changed her world, and she's changed the world of so many other people with disabilities. I mean, you see people with Down syndrome on most of the catwalks now, and that all is because of the work Madeline's done and the doors that she's opened.
Wow.
Oh, don't you just
story.
love that
Yes.
can-do attitude? Because seeing that there's no limitations or obstacles was what her mother did, and Madeline obviously learnt from that and went, yes, I'm going to do that. Why can't I? Why can't she? She's amazing. And don't you think as parents, mothers and fathers, that's our role when our children say, I want to do this, you go, yeah, let's do this. Like, babe, what do you want to do when you grow up?
I want to be a mechanical engineer.
Go for it, girlfriend.
She gets that from her father. Not me.
And the pressures of modelling as well. You know, she's in an industry where, we know ourselves, Mum, through past experience. It's not easy. There's rejection, there's castings, but I find that so inspiring to watch how they've together embraced this. And she's got an avenue that she's used to shine, be creative, and really step out in her.
They're building a life around it. I mean, anything is possible is their philosophy, and they've got the dance studio, the fashion label, 21 Reasons Why. It takes a lot of forward thinking and planning to achieve so much.
Yeah, I really love too that we're seeing diversity in modelling and on the catwalk and in our magazines. It's so important because the fact is our little girls and more our little boys look to people in the fashion industry and think, why don't I see someone like me there? And so now, because of people like Madeline, everyone sees versions of themselves and they can find their own acceptance through that. It's so important.
One of the best stories we've done, I think, on the House of Wellness. Maddie and her mum are two remarkable people, and there's more remarkable things to come up next on the House of Wellness.
Today, we're taking the humble omelette from simple to spectacular. My prawn omelette with a miso tahini drizzle is a delicious light meal that's heavy on flavour and packed full of protein. To make it, we're beating up 5 eggs, adding 150 grams of chopped raw prawns, a spoonful of miso paste and a sprinkle of chives. Adding Bioglan marine collagen powder helps nourish your hair, skin and nails from within. While the omelette is cooking, we'll make our dressing in a jar. It's just 2 tablespoons of tahini, 1 tablespoon of miso paste and a little water to thin. Put on the lid, shake it all up and you're good to go. To serve, pour on the dressing and garnish with a few more chives. And there you have it, my spectacular prawn omelette with a miso tahini drizzle.
You're watching a very special edition of the House of Wellness, and our mums and Joe's daughter Willow joining us on the couch. Just giving you a bit of a taste of the incredible women who have all helped shape our lives and somehow managed to negotiate us through some tricky years. Did I ever have any tricky years?
Yeah, lots of tricky years.
Well, that's all we've got time for How did you go, Hines? Did you navigate your youth without any problems?
Yeah, definitely. I think we had our ups and downs. I was really fortunate being the fourth of 4 boys because by the time it came to me, Mum and Dad were well and truly a little bit over it and went, you can find your way. Your earlier brothers have exhausted us. But I thought while we're sitting here, it could be really, really fun too, whilst we have this delicious high tea.
I'm going to start pouring.
We ask our gorgeous mums and, of course, Willow, some questions that we've never been brave enough to ask you. So get ready, mums.
All right.
It's going to be, it's all happening. So, all right, here's the first question for you, Anne.
All right.
What's something you always wanted to do in life but didn't, and why didn't you?
I can't think of anything offhand that I haven't had a go at.
Well, so it means you've just jumped in head first into everything? So the next question is there anything that you wish had been different between us or that you would still like to change?
Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Very sweet. Thank you.
I love that.
What about you guys?
You two are so beautiful. It's putting us all to shame. I don't have as... mine are a little bit lighter. Mum, as a teenager, you remember that we used to smother toothpaste all over my face to get rid of my pimples? I never asked why.
Why?
Why? I don't know why.
I think, didn't someone tell us that it would take the pimples away?
Yeah. Word of mouth.
Oh, actually,
That is a thing.
Wasn't it on that movie, My Big Fat Greek Wedding?
Possibly.
I think that's where we got
Did
it.
it work?
No. Well, it worked 10 years later. Okay, last question, a little more semi-serious. After raising 3 kids and working full-time and doing the best that you could, what would be the one piece of advice that you would give me for Violet and Dom now?
Ooh. Just what I did. Love, nurture, support and guide your children the best way that you can.
Yeah, and just be them.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautifully said.
Aww.
And Willow, do you have questions for Mum?
Who's your favourite me or dad?
Who's my favourite?
On the spot, Mum.
Great question.
So, we are a very tight threesome because Willow doesn't have any siblings. So pretty much it's me, Daz and Willow everywhere we go, often in the same bed. Willow will snuggle in at night. So that's a very good question. And I would say I love you both equally, but for different reasons.
Oh, that's good.
But to be honest, babe, a lot of the time, all I want to do is sit down with you and hang out with you. Daddy as well, but, I think if I had to choose, if I had a spare hour, I'd probably go to you first a lot of the time because you're my little buddy. You and I are peas in a pod. Yep. Have you got another question? I'm worried. Okay.
What's the thing you love about me the most?
But my heart is just...
Well, sweetheart, you are the most resilient person. You don't even know how brave you are, the things that you have already lived through in your life, and your courage to take on any challenge that is given to you, no matter what, is the greatest joy to see, and I will always do everything in my power to let you do whatever you want, babe.
I'm seriously thinking about rewriting my questions on the back of that. My first one. Well, that is just very, very beautiful. I was going to ask Mum, did you realise that it was me who broke that last China plate? All those years ago, your great-grandmother had left you, you said there was no footies allowed to be kicked inside, but I kicked one in and it was me who broke that plate. I think I might have lied at the time. Did you know it was me?
I would have suspected that something like that.
It was me. And this is a bit of a recurring theme, but do you have any regrets about sending me to boarding school at the age of 14? Not that I've got any issues about it.
Let it go, Daz.
Yeah.
It certainly wouldn't be my choice, but I don't because I think it turned out so well. I love the way, whether it's anything to do with me or not, the way that my family have all turned out to be fantastic.
And I loved it there. I had a great time, by the way. So just trying to wind you up. I've got the floor, so I'm going to ask you. Do you find it funny watching me have the same arguments with my oldest is 15 that I was probably having with you. I see you come round to my house and I see a smile on your face from time to time.
I think it's hilarious. I think there are so many things that are the same there that used to, that you couldn't see why it drove anyone else nuts, and it just drives you nuts the same, and they're just like you. So we know how that's all going to turn out, so that's good.
Thanks to all our mums. Up next, Gerald at the Health Bar's got some vital information for the new mums who are new to the game. That's coming up on the House of Wellness.
Welcome back to the House of Wellness, and there is no greater joy than being a new mum. However, it goes hand in hand with not sleeping, worrying we're doing it right, and stressing about the health of our baby. And of course, Gerald, that's especially true when it comes to feeding, right?
So true, Rach. And the World Health Organisation suggests that we breastfeed exclusively for the first 6 months and then ongoing with appropriate foods for the first 2 years.
Now, that sounds really good in theory, but a lot of women can struggle achieving that, especially for that length of time. It can cause massive anxiety, fear, and just overall, just overwhelm.
Rachel, it puts huge pressure on mums, and it's become so complicated, breastfeeding, hasn't it? But really, when and why the breastfeeding is important, there's so many things we can do to help along the way to make the whole thing, bearing in mind stress and some supportive supplements. It's just a really great time to be seeking some advice.
So what are some of the things naturally that we can do?
I brought along here today some fenugreek. The smell of that is beautiful.
It's not the best smelling. Well, it's a herb, right?
Yes, it's a herb. And it actually, what it does, we call fenugreek a galactagogue. It helps gently increase the supply of breast milk. So really it's a very safe way to help milk production, particularly when stress or other things are happening to decrease your milk supply.
Okay, so how often do I need to be taking this?
Look, it depends. You get some advice for a start, and you take it according to the little issues that come. Usually we find that you'll get results within 4 days, and about 3 out of 4 women find that makes a difference. And the feedback from feeding mums is quite remarkable where they are struggling to get a milk supply.
Can any breastfeeding mum take it? It's safe for everyone?
Yes, look, it's been around, fenugreek's been around for thousands of years. It's always good to get some advice from your healthcare practitioner, but bear in mind that the safety is there, the reassurance is there, and remember to add some B group vitamins as well, because it's a stressful time, particularly for mums who have more than one child, for those who feel that the pressure is diminishing their breast milk supply, and for those who just want a little bit of help.
And Gerald, I think at that time, particularly from the moment you give birth, you are so fatigued and you need whatever help you can for your body to be able to feed, obviously. Will fenugreek help with that sort of level of tiredness?
It's designed with the B group vitamins, Joe. The two work in combination. So the B group vitamins, particularly B12, it's activated B12, just tends to help energy and offset fatigue, whilst the fenugreek helps with the breast milk production. But as in all cases, always get some advice from your trusted medical practitioner.
Absolutely. Thank you so much again, Gerald, for all your amazing wisdom. We love being here with you at the Health Bar. And the A to Z of Vitamins is brought to you by Swiss, Australia's #1 brand for vitamins and supplements.
Now, Willow, I have a question for you. If you could take your mum anywhere on a holiday, where would you take her?
I'll take her around Europe because of the beautiful gardens there.
Oh, you know what? She says that because I'm always saying to her, get outside and get into the garden. Always. Which is what my mum used to say to me, and I'd roll my eyes.
Yeah.
You know, isn't it amazing how we have adopted all the things that our mums used to say to us? And I never thought I would.
Say, do, mannerisms.
Oh.
Sometimes I catch myself doing and saying the same things as mum and dad. It's amazing how it flows on.
Mum, you have, I'm sorry to do this on television, you've got a massive sneeze. It is so loud, and you've passed it on to me. People jump in the street, they're terrified. It's like,
Hey,
that was
Anne,
tame.
I'm told reliably this is the first time you've literally ever almost taken a photograph, first time you've ever been on camera. You're a natural.
Yes.
Have you felt? Were you nervous today?
Well, Luke had told me it was just for a little 5-minute segment.
Little did she know.
So that was nothing to worry about, was it?
Yeah, a quick bit at the intro and then it'll be fine.
the intro and then it's over. Yeah.
Now, if I could take you on a holiday, Mum, I'd take you to a little place called Sukhavati, Bali, which we've been giving away to the House of Wellness family, the opportunity to go up to Sukhavati, Bali, thanks to the team at Jetstar as well. So you've had a good time up there at our resort.
I've loved it, yes, every single bit of it.
All right, now I'm going to ask a question, because I think Rachel's a bit too perfect, Joe. I think we need to find out. So I'm going to have a go, Colleen. Is there anything, does she have any annoying habit? Did she do anything that you can remember as a child that wasn't quite right?
She was a good girl.
But?
I'll be honest. But occasionally on her report cards it would come home, Rachael is too talkative.
Too talkative, of course.
Which I think has helped her in her career.
Tony Cathy in the back.
Now, for all our mums, we are very excited to have you with us on the House of Wellness, and want to say Happy Mother's Day to all of our beautiful mums. Thank you.
Yes.
Wow.
This is so much better than the Mother's Day stall at school.
I used to like my handmade presents and cards.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like the handmade ones, the Mother's Day stall ones.
like
You know,
the
they do their
handmade
best. They do their best.
Thanks to all our mums. That's our show for the week. To Colleen, to Anne and to Willow, and to my beautiful mum, Janet. Thanks for joining us. We've had a lot of fun today. Head to our website, houseofwellness.com.au, for all the information and more on today's show. And don't forget, Mum, you can listen to the House of Wellness radio show every Sunday. You listen to Gerald and hear a bit of Joe Stanley as well. And as always, thanks to our very good friends at Chemist Warehouse. See you next time.